let's you can hear that noise, right?
Yep.
All right, so let me do the intro and we'll get going. Welcome to the Rebel Alliance briefing. Please visit our website, https://RABR.KAILEJOHANSEN.US. There you can find links to send us feedback. Connect to us on social media for instructions on how to load the podcast onto your device. I'm Kyle John Johansson. This is Andrew Scott Sutton and Rick Ross Bosley. It's time to talk Star Wars. Scott's taking a break from us, so he's not here. I was going to say, I've been doing some work on, I've kind of let you guys know about it, but I've been doing some work on getting us on Apple Video, part of their podcast section. So we're on there officially, and at least one of our videos is up there. I'm going to hopefully get the second one, the next two, I guess all of them for Acolyte are going to be on there. And then eventually I'll start putting the other stuff, Tales of the Empire and stuff on there.
Sweet.
But see, part of the issue is Apple doesn't actually host anything; they just link to it. So I had to find a place to put the video, which, as I've told you before, some of it's 7, 8, 10 gigs in size, depending on how long we talk. And so I found there's a place called archive.org, and they basically anybody can upload anything, any audio or video they want up there. So if you want it archived on the internet forever, that's where you put it. And they let you do this. They actually have instructions on how to do this for podcasts. So sweet. I'm uploading them up to there, and they'll be officially hosted from there to wherever we want them to. Spotify lets me upload the videos, but I can't link a RSS feed, which is what, where you put everything at. Every time you get a new episode, you put a new episode in the RSS feed, and it pulls it down automatically. They have to upload it manually, which is weird. And it basically, like I said before, it basically replaces the audio that's there. So you upload the audio, and then you get the ability to upload a video if you want to, which replaces the audio. I don't understand why it would do that, but anyway. Even if it's a separate feed. So today we're reviewing Star Wars Acolyte Season 1, Episode 3, called Destiny. No 2-word titles this time. Notice that?
Notice that.
So that means it's a little different. And the good news is this actually episode goes in the past further, and we find out what happened with our sisters and everything. So we're going to discuss all that. We'll do an unboxing here just in a few minutes, and we'll have a total recap and give us some opinions and some theories about what's going on. So let me rearrange my cameras here so we can do the unboxing. Give me a sec. I didn't prepare this in advance, so
fresh from your port.
There's my tool.
Fresh from the Amazon delivery on your porch.
Oh. That's good. Yeah, okay. So we're doing an unboxing. Yay. Now we have a special treat. It's unboxings. Yay, shark tool.
Fancy.
This one's never ever been opened.
Careful. Pull away from it. Not towards you.
The tape is there. Wasn't being very cooperative. Oh, of course, there's another box inside of it. And it has paper. And it's got the warning on it, too. It says a warning.
Warning.
I guess that's the new Funko thing, is to put the warning wrapper on.
It's in danger. That's cool. Even has the Funko on it.
Yeah, I think it's just saying that basically nobody since the factory has touched the insides. You're getting a product that has been untouched by anyone but Funko employees.
Employee number 12.
All right, I got that open. Oh, I don't want to. I don't want you to see.
Cheater. Give me a tease.
It's too much light. It's all right. So it says Anikan Skywalker, and he's
Yeah.
got goggles on.
A little space racing.
Yeah. So, and it's
Space.
number 698. Here's the side view. 698. He's got the headphones on and everything. You know, ear protection, I guess,
Yeah.
and his little leather racing hat.
Skull bucket.
Here's the back. It says Phantom Menace Episode 1. So that's the collection. We did the Padme one the other day from this collection, and Watu earlier. I think what else is there? No, that's the only one. I think the Jar Jar's coming soon in the mail. Actually. So that's the back and the top. And
Now.
well, I've got that light on above my head, and I always forget to turn it off. It makes it so dark in here. Let me turn it off, and you can.
But we're doing a dark series, so it has to be dark.
Yeah, this is a dark series, that's for sure. Yeah, so there's the mostly no reflection thing. Yeah, so and I wanted to tell you I've started I went back to all the episodes we've done these unboxings in, and I've written down the item and the number for each one, and I think I'm gonna edit the website and put them on each episode that we did, or either that or make a page that has them all, has it listed. You can click on unboxings and it'll have a listing or something. I haven't decided fully. I think I'm just going to do it on each individual page. Rick went away.
I'm still here.
Had to eat another sandwich. Okay, so I'm back, and that was our unboxing. Yay! Anakin Skywalker from pod racing times. So again, the episode is episode 3, Destiny of the Acolyte, and we have the director name was Kogonada. No last name, just one name. So this is somebody pretty important if they can go by one name. Right, Rick? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Writers this time was Jasmyne Flournoy and Eileen Shim. The editor was Cheryl Potter. Music was scored by Michael Abels, whatever his name is. And he appears to be the only person that's staying. Oh no, Rick left. There, Rick's coming back. Okay. Our cast is some of the same people, but they're much younger in this episode, right?
Yeah, they're way younger.
Way younger. And I'm not 100% sure if the Wookiee Kellenek is a Padawan or not. They don't really say or not in the episode. And none of the cast listings say it. It just says Kellenek. So I'm wondering if he even finished his Padawan before he went into exile or not. I don't know, but maybe we'll find out in another episode. But so we had.
He wasn't wearing like the Jedi uniform, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. So I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. It's kind of interesting. At least that's what I noticed. So there's Master Soul, which was Jung-Jae, Padawan Torbin, which was Dean Charles Chapman, the guy you said was from Game of Thrones. Yeah. And then we had the sisters, Little May by Leah Bradley and Little Osha by Lauren Bradley. We had the mother Aniseya again, which we saw in the first episode, was played by Jodie Turner-Smith. And she was, I guess, in charge of the entire clan for this episode. The head witch. There was Master Indira again, Carrie-Anne Moss. And I went ahead and put Master Keleneka because I don't know, but that was Jonas Sudamato. Then we've got some of the witches or members of the clan. Koril was the one that had all the horns that supposedly fostered the kids, carried the babies, I guess. And that was Margarita Levieva. Ensign Rane, Amy Tsang. Ensign Eurus was Abigail Thorn. Elder Jaalyn was Tabitha Algie. Scout Sierra was Sasaki Allen. Ensign Shima was Deborah Rosen. Yeah, so interesting little plan. So we had this episode 3 Destiny that aired on June 11th. Crap, I didn't get the exact time, but it was like 40 minutes long. And the timeline,
wouldn't it?
Maybe a little bit longer. I forgot to get the exact time. I'll correct it on the website before I post everything, but with the correct time. But it was Star Wars time was 1:48 before the Battle of Yavin, which the previous episode was 1:32. So we're like 10 years or so in the past for this episode. And all that means that it's time to grab your favorite beverage, pull up a chair, and join us in the Rebel Alliance briefing room. And I'm dehydrated, so I need that.
I drank before you died.
So our episode starts out on the planet of Brendanock. 16 years earlier, a younger Verosha Aniseya, that's her actual full name. She goes by Osha, but it's Verosha, is meditating in the forest grove beneath a bunta tree. Which, if you remember, those things are supposed to be poisonous if they eat them.
The leaves, yeah, the bunta leaves.
She's admiring a butterfly-like insect, and her sister Mayho, Aniseya, or May, finds her meditating. When Osha says the bunta tree is beautiful, May replies that the tree is dangerous. And they skipped over here a little bit part here, but she tries to suspend that little butterfly thing in air with her force or whatever. And she can, but she's struggling, right? Looks like she's struggling. But then it looks like when May shows up, May takes over and kind of does it for her. And it's much more powerful, at least. Much more comfortable with her abilities, I guess you could say.
Yep.
When Osha sees the tree, and it's dangerous, May uses her force powers to suspend the insect again until Osha tells her to let the creature go. It's mean. You're being mean to it.
Let it go. Let it go.
Yeah. When Osha questions her violent tendencies, May counters by asking her why she's always has to run off. Why is she getting herself away from everybody else? Osha is not keen with doing the ascension, but May insists it's only a ceremony, and Osha agrees to accompany her and her sister back. While walking through the forest, they reaffirm their connection as twins, stating they're always one despite being born two. There's some sort of chanting they're doing or something. And I think that's part of what we hear in the Ascension too, is the whole clan is always one or something like that. While walking in a circle and interlacing fingers, they make a vow about being there for each other, and the twins are interrupted by the Zabarak mother Koril, who chastises them for leaving the fortress walls, and venturing into the woods. When Osha protests, Koril says that the rules are there for her safety, Koril leads the girls back to the fortress. A younger master soul uh, watches from behind a tree, which is kind of creepy. Kind of creepy. Made me, I don't want to say this, but I will. It made me almost think about a pedophile. The Jedi are pedophiles looking for little kids.
Well, it's kind of implied with that during this episode.
Kind of. Kind of. I
There's
don't know.
there's a definite inference.
They're bad. Yeah, whatever. It's
Yeah.
I got a real creepy kind of feeling, and I think maybe that's what we're supposed to get, but I'm not sure. I don't know. Just
Yeah.
anyway. Later, the sisters and Koril enter the mountain fortress, populated by females of various species. The two sisters want some spice creams, but Mother Koril initially refuses as punishment for leaving the fortress. You were bad, bad girls.
No, no, no.
She relents and says they can have it after the ceremony. Their mother, Aniseya, overrules Koril, saying that the girls must have sweet treats. She tells the girls to meet in the common room for training. In private, Koril complains that the girls are running away, but Aniseya responds that nobody saw them escaping. Koril also tells her that the Jedi offworlders have moved inland. Aniseya thinks their coven is safe from the prying eyes of the Jedi, but Koril is concerned about Osha frequently running away and thinks Aniseya is being too lenient. Aniseya responds that it is normal for a child to test their boundaries, which is true. Koril says the twins are not normal children, though.
True.
Later at the coven meeting, Aniseya teaches them about the coven and the belief of the thread connecting all things. So they call it the thread, and the Jedi call it the Force. She does mention that some call it the Force. She says here she conquers the thread of thin energy with her hands and uses it to summon a blue fruit, which she passes to the girls. Osha snatches it, while some call the thread the Force, Aniseya counters. They believe that the thread is not a power that can be wielded. She says that if you pull the thread, it changes everything. She emphasized that the thread is tied to one's destiny and that it binds them to others. So the thread runs through everybody, I guess, is what she's trying to say.
Connects them.
Aniseya gets two of her followers to volunteer for a demonstration. They attempt to block the telekinetic approach, but Aniseya easily scatters them. She talks about the upcoming ascension tonight, saying that the more power will be displayed. Osha and May squabble in the background, prompting Aniseya to discipline them by using the thread to push them to the ground. She says, "Hey, wouldn't that be kind of actually cool as a parent, be able to do that every once in a while? Just scare your kids by knocking them to the ground real quick."
That'd be awesome.
I said, "Shut up." Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Talk to the hand.
Yeah, it's actually funny. I thought it was funny. Uh, they squabble in the background. Aniseya asks the two sisters to practice their powers with her. Despite some difficulty, May manages to deflect Aniseya's telekinetic push. Osha shelters behind her sister, basically not doing anything. She's just kind of afraid to. Yeah, Koril warns Osha that she expects more of her. She actually tells her she's disappointed. While the twins leave for their room, the chaperone, Koril gazes at a generator. In their room, May tells Aniseya that Osha is nervous about the ascension ceremony tonight. Aniseya speaks to Osha directly. When Osha says she does not want to go to the ascension, May says this is how they become witches. Osha is unsure about becoming a witch, but May is insistent. Aniseya gets the sisters to hold hands together, explaining that the thread tied them together before they were born. Before they were born? What? She tells them to love each other, and May encourages Osha. Aniseya explains that the ascension is about walking through fear and sacrificing a part of yourself, the power of many instead of the power of one. She warns Osha that the galaxy is a place that does not welcome women with special powers like them. So they're isolated, but they're witches and they're kind of evil. They're not. I see, and that's always been weird with me because the witches aren't really Sith. They're their own thing, but they're kind of evil. So the Sith kind of like them.
Well, but this is a different order of witches than the Doramir, right?
Yes.
So like they're I don't know, on a scale, these are a little bit less of the evil, I guess, if you want to use that word. Bad. Because these witches have kind of like stayed to themselves. Like
They
something's happened
isolated themselves.
something's happened to them because they talk about, starting over again, and then they've like stayed away from everybody else, like
Yep. Yep. Maybe they were attacked by well,
Doramor.
there's no empire necessarily right now, but the Republic or somebody, I don't know, some marauders or something. Who knows?
Other witches.
It could be other factions of witches.
Yeah, I don't know.
Later that night, members of the Covenant gather above a deep crater in the mountain under two crescent moons. While getting their hair styled for the ascension, two handmade witches, Osha and May talk about spice creams. May sees Osha drawing in her notebook. Osha objects to May and hides it. When May complains about Osha hiding things from her, Osha says she sometimes wants to spend time alone, do things herself. May insists they are one, but Osha says they are separate individuals. Two sisters are the only children in the whole community. Osha is curious about the wider galaxy outside Brendan Nook, but May believes that everything they need is here. As the two moons align with the dotted perimeter lights of the mountain fortress, Koril leads them to the other witches to the ceremonial dance. Aniseya walks through the group and explains that will perform a ceremony that they will have not performed since they've been in exile because they haven't had any kids, I guess. They say they were hunted, persecuted, and driven from hiding by those who consider their magic unnatural. So somebody probably could have just been regular people too. Like these guys are, Salem massacre witches.
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah. Say they're the Salem witch trial.
Exactly. Facing extinction, they were blessed with a miracle by escaping. I don't know. After looking to Koril, she signals that the coven to make way for Osha and May to enter the ceremony. The witches kneel before the sisters, and May is eager, but Osha is still nervous. Aniseya holds the two girls' hands under the aligned twin moons, and the witches begin chanting about the power of 1, 2, and 3. As the coven chants and dance, Aniseya asks May if she will follow the ways of the coven and protect the legacy upon her death. May promises she will. I will. When Aniseya conjures up a purple light and places her hand on May's head, forming a tattoo on her left. Aniseya tells her to ascend, and May joins the rest of the coven. Aniseya then turns her attention to Osha, asking the same question she asked May, and Osha hesitates before answering in affirmation. She says, I do, maybe. Before Aniseya can continue the ceremony, two witches interrupt with the news that the Jedi have sliced the platform and will be here very soon. Aniseya tells Kor to hide and protect the children from among others with her cloaks. Several coven warriors prepare their bows and arrows, but Aniseya orders them to stand down, insisting on non-violence.
Only when
Jedi
necessary.
intruders enter the courtyard, including Master Indara, Master Soul, Padawan Torbin, and Kelenic. So he doesn't say Padawan, doesn't say Master. It says Kelenic.
He's a Wookiee. He doesn't have those titles.
I don't know. I mean, from what we have been told before, there's been only one Jedi Wookiee. So maybe he's not actually a Jedi. I don't know. I don't think we'll ever find out until we get to that episode where May is hunting him down and trying to kill him. See if he's
Probably.
got. Oh, we did see him. The
He took
hunters that were at his house, didn't we?
Yeah, he pulled the gun away from him and snapped it.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see
She
what
called him a
happens.
Jedi because she's like looking for 4.
That's true. She did call him a Jedi. It didn't mean he was a master either. He'd be a
No.
Jedi, but not a master, as Anikan knows. Indira introduces herself and her colleagues to Mother Aniseya. When Koril accuses them of trespassing, Indira apologizes, saying that they believed that their planet was uninhabited. Aniseya voices skepticism. Indira says that Jedi mean them no harm. Aniseya counters that Jedi have come armed and unannounced. Osha is curious about the Jedi, but May tells her to remember Aniseya's warning. Osha ignores her and peers through the gap in one of the witch's cloaks. When Aniseya asks what they want, Indira looks at Soul. She expresses concern that the Coven is training children in the violation of Republic law. Oh, so there's a law where only the Jedi can train them, I guess? I don't know. Republic law. Aniseya responds that they are outside the Republic jurisdiction. Koril denies that they are children of their coven. And Kelenic cranes for a look around the coven, but before grunting in Sherwookie. Sensing movement, Indira invites the children to come out, saying they mean no harm.
Come, child.
Yeah. Soul sees a glint of gold from Osha's cloak. Osha walks through the crowd and approaches Soul, and Soul kneels to introduce himself to each of them. Indira asks Osha if they can meet her sister also. And Osha looks at Aniseya, who gives a permission nod. Osha points upstairs as May exits the crowd. When Indira asks where is their father, Aniseya replies that they have no father. Soul notices the ascension markings on May's forehead, which was not there this morning, which is creepy because they were watching them a little close if they know that.
I know that.
Yeah. The witches accuse the Jedi of wanting to take their children. Soul disagrees. As the witches react with hostility, he prepares to draw his lightsaber in combat. Indira calls for restraint, and Soul gently shows his lightsaber to Osha, making it look like he wasn't going to do what he was going to do. He allows Osha to feel the lightsaber.
Show and tell.
Yeah. I was just going to show it to her. I wasn't going to light it or anything. Kill anybody or anything. No.
Just to make sure it wasn't pointed towards her head.
Yeah. Soul invites Osha to be tested and trained as a Jedi. Osha looks to her mother, Aniseya, for permission, and May looks at him and the other Jedi wearily. Aniseya stares at Torbin, causing his eyes to turn black. And he kind of went limp too. Oh, Rick's trying to do it too. Oh no. Soul snatches his lightsaber back from Osha, and Kalaneka growls with terror. Arrgh. Torbin begins gasping for breath. Can't breathe either. Aniseya demands that the Jedi leave in return for restoring Torbin to his right mind. Osha asks her mom for permission to take the Jedi test. Indira reminds Aniseya that Osha has the right to take the test on her own. Aniseya releases her grip on Torbin, causing his eyes to return to normal. Aniseya reluctantly arranges for Osha to be brought to the Jedi encampment for testing the following day. When Indara asks about May, Aniseya reluctantly acquiesces, and the Jedi exit the courtyard.
So that's the part where they're like children thieves.
It was a little weird. I mean,
Well, we've talked
the
about it before in the past, like,
they
the Sith,
always they
kids and Jedi too.
exactly. Well, the Empire was looking for kids because they wanted to, you
Yeah.
know, mind control them and train them for stormtroopers. Um, and I guess the Sith do have, their acolyte that's young and such, but not like the Jedi, because the Sith, the main principle is the power of two. So there's always two of them,
Yeah.
a master and an apprentice or whatever. So if you see one, there's always another one somewhere. That's what you're supposed to think. But
Well, and we also know from Bad Batch that they were taking kids because they were wanting the metachlorums. So, I mean,
right,
you
and
know,
that's exactly, and that's after the
yeah, after this time period.
it's during the Clone Wars, but it's before um the first Death Star blows up, basically. Yeah.
So we know this is
Um.
on for generations.
Right. All right. So the Aniseya asks Koril to gather her advisors while Koril sends the children to bed. Later, Aniseya meets with her advisors. Koril advocates for killing the four Jedi, but others urge caution, fearing retribution of the Republic. Aniseya proposes instead that the girls should take the test in order to appease Osha. Uh, Koril objects, fearing that they will lose the girls. When Aniseya asserts her authority, Koril counters that she carried the two children, and Aniseya replies that she created the twins. When Koril asks what if the Jedi discover how she created them, Elder Nasa proposes that twins take the test but fail in order to avoid conflict with the Republic and keep the twins in the coven. So they want them to fail the test on purpose. But yeah, so here we find out that the twins were technically created by magic.
Yep.
And that makes me also think about how Anakin was created. Because he didn't have a father either. And her
True.
mother said that she just became pregnant somehow. She didn't know how. She didn't have sex or anything, but she became pregnant. So that makes me wonder if this kind of power has been used for Anakin too.
Could have been.
Could have been.
It was those darn witches. They're always.
Either that or they taught Palpatine or somebody how to use the same power.
Broomsticks.
Yep. Broomsticks, that's it. The following morning, NSA briefs May and Osha about their plans. When Osha asks how they should fail, she suggests telling the Jedi the opposite of what is in their heart. May tells Osha that if they pass, the Jedi will take them from their mama. When Osha and May argue about whether the Jedi are good or bad, NSA says the issue is not about good or evil, but rather who should wield the power. Oh, NSA says that while Osha may want to be a Jedi, their interest may change like the seasons. So she might want to be a Jedi today, and tomorrow she wants to be a witch. And then tomorrow, the day after that, she wants to be a Sith. I don't know. I think it's interesting that they've been focusing a lot on the witches, and from the original series, we've always thought of only only two factions. There's the Sith and the Jedi, but there's actually three. There's the witches, the Sith, and the Jedi.
That we
I
know of.
think that we know of. Yeah, unless there's a robot clan too. They can use the Force. I don't know. Koril and the scouts lead the twins to the Jedi's red-striped white starship. As they approach the ship, Osha tells May that she does not want to lie and says that and say what's in her heart. Koril summons May. Before separating, May asks Osha to remember their promise. Well, to lie, basically. And Osha reluctantly says she'll keep her promise. While May undergoes her test, Osha walks around the Jedi encampment and takes interest in the Wookiee Jedi Kalaneka. It says it right there, Jedi. Wookiee Jedi Kalaneka, who is repairing a damaged speeder bike. Later, May exits the starship and smiles at Koril, which, I guess she lied. Padawan Torbin ushers Osha into the ship. As Torbin kneels, Osha takes interest in his lightsaber and asks how he got it. Torbin explains that he had to go through a trial to earn one. Lots of trials, he said. Torbin then takes a blood sample from Osha before ushering her into the living area. Indara asks Osha to divine what the image is on the screen and tell them what she sees. When Soul holds can't talk. When Soul holds a turned away screen, Osha claims she sees a starship on the screen when actually what shows is the Loth cat. He smiles and Soul smiles and says, "Correct. You got it right." It was wrong. Soul toggles the image to a space station, but Osha says it's a mountain, and he says it's correct again.
Correct.
You're correct. Oh. Soul asks Osha if someone asked her to fail the test on purpose. Indira asks Osha if her family does not want her to be separated from her. Osha shifts her eyes around nervously. I don't know what you're talking about. Soul speaks to Osha and says that he was discovered to be force sensitive by the Jedi at the age of 4. Soul says that he felt different from his family. Says that he can empathize with her. Soul was scared to leave with the Jedi. He got to meet thousands of other children like him. Soul asked Osha to have the courage to make up her own mind. After some reflection, Osha decides that she wants to be a Jedi. I want to be a Jedi.
Well, she also was like other kids. She didn't
Right.
realize there were other kids.
She wants to see other kids. Yeah. Yeah, right. That's part of what's going on too. But Soul says she must have the courage to tell her family of her decision. Following the test, a conflicted Osha exits the starship. Torbin waits on the ramp, realizing what Osha has done. May gives an angry look and runs off. Helenek watches and growls in concern. He's like,
yeah, well, she understands him. That's the crazy thing. So, like, their language must be a pretty universal one because she was able to talk to him.
There's also an implication that Jedi have an easy time with other languages.
True.
Because Luke Skywalker understands pretty much everything that makes a difference. He understands the droids and everything.
True.
And most of us don't understand. And I don't think Han Solo understands R2D2. But Luke can talk sentences and stuff with him. Anyway, yeah, I think it's just a universal language thing going on in their head with the Force. I don't know. They have a translator that automatically happens. But yeah, I mean, she understands him, and it seems like she knows exactly what he's saying when he says something. Especially at the bike or whatever when he said something.
Yeah.
Later that night, May and Osha meet with the Coven. Osha says she told the Jedi the truth. Mother Aniseya says telling the truth is not always as simple. That's simple. While May is angry with Osha and tells her she lied and broke her promise. Aniseya thinks the Jedi played a mind trick, but Osha says that she truly wants to be a Jedi and explore the galaxy, meet other children. She says she does not want to be a witch. May is angry and attacks Osha. Koril restrains May and ushers her out of the room. Yeah, she starts throwing a fit. Like, why? Why did you do this? Why are you doing this to me? Osha apologizes to Aniseya, and Aniseya says that destiny is not decided by an aphomoric force unless her choose. While aware that she will not see her family again, Osha tearfully affirms her decision to be a Jedi. Aniseya says that she will discuss Osha's wish with the rest of the council, and Osha retreats to her bedchamber after she packs her bag, or where she packs her bag. She touches her blue soft toys, and then picks up a triangular-shaped journal, when one of the pages of which is etched by a Jedi symbol. So, okay. May enters the room and says she will not let her leave and join the Jedi. She snatches the journal and locks Osha inside the bedroom. May uses an oil lantern to set the journal ablaze after Osha begs her to let her out and stuff. The fire spreads throughout the building and into the bedroom. Trapped, and Osha uses a tool to unlock a narrow passageway, which leads to a larger passageway. So it's like a weird escape tunnel. And I want to say something here before we get a little bit further, but I saw a lot of stuff on the internet about this. There's talk about it I went to imdb.com to look up some stuff that I needed for the cast and whatever. And they had a thing in there that there was a mistake that was made in the flames and everything, because you see the flames engulf the walls and the floor and everything, but there's no wood on the floor. There's no wood on the walls. It's all rock and dirt.
I noticed that. Yeah, it's all stone.
I'm like, I saw that. I noticed it too, but I didn't really think about it that much. I was like, why is that burning? It's rock, and then I didn't think about it after that. But
she's a witch, and she's got magic flame.
Zach, of course, it was oil too, so oil is different. Oil can stick to the rock and stuff and burn, but there wasn't that much oil anyway.
True.
So it's on fire. She's trapped, and Osha uses a tool to unlock a narrow passageway which leads to a larger escape passage. Through the grate, Osha hears the screams of the other witches. As Osha approaches a generator, she sees her sister May running up the generator stairs. Shortly later, the generator explodes, creating a hole in the walkway between Osha and May. Soul runs into the fortress, calling for Osha. When May reveals that her mother is dead, Osha asks what she has done. What have you done? What have you done to us? May returns the question. The walkway suddenly gives away, and May slides into the chasm below. Osha falls, but Saul pulls her up to safety. Dun, 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 dun. Sticks his hand down there and grabs her.
Got her.
Soul says, I've got you. I've got you. Just pull up. You're not falling. They walk through a smoky hall strewn with bodies of witches. The two flee to the fortress courtyard where Osha sees her dead mother, Aniseya. Soul pulls her away as the fortress crumbles and fire is spread across the witches' fortress. Later, Osha wakes aboard the Jedi starship with a breathing mask around her face. Soul tends to her and tells her that she is safe. When she asks where she is, you're safe now. You're on a starship. We're going to Coruscant. Going to Coruscant. Indara and Torbin watch in the near door. We're going to Coruscant, and he tells Osha that May started a fire, destroyed everything, and killed everyone, including Mama. Osha wants to go back and search for May, but Soul says there's nothing back there. Soul offers to train Osha as a Padawan and hugs her. He promises her protection. Creepy.
Creepy old man.
Yeah. Back on Brinduk, May is relieved that to have survived the explosion that destroyed the coven. She faces the Bunta tree and where she found Osha meditating at the beginning of the episode. And then the credits roll. We hear something in the background, some voice in the background. I think she's calling to Osha in her mind or something. I don't know. We hear a voice in the background too. Don't you remember kind of hearing that?
Well, we don't know what else is on that planet.
Yeah,
that's the only life that we know, right?
exactly. All right, so that was a interesting episode. It was more story than action, I guess, which may have not made it as exciting. But like I said, there's a lot of stuff on the internet where they basically say that this entire episode ruined all of Star Wars. It was some of the people said, which I thought that's stupid. But
This episode did its job because it filled the backstory of what we didn't know from episode 1 and 2. And I think
right.
I think there's more to it, obviously, but this was a great filler, I thought. I mean, I thought this was a perfect episode to follow up with 1 and 2.
It was the backstory that we needed.
Yeah, well, a little bit of the backstory.
Right. We still don't know why they're there or what's going on with that coven, how they do stuff every day. We don't know any of that stuff. We just know that
why the girls were
right. We don't know why they were created, any of that stuff. I guess maybe because if they don't have children, they don't have a way to carry on their coven.
I mean, I think that's what they're implying or inferring. I think the big takeaway that we get from this is that Osha is not the stronger of the two.
Right.
At least with, stuff. Now that we may find that might be different, but at a young age, May is the stronger of the two.
Right. And well, we know from episode 1 and 2 that she quit the Jedi too. And I'm wondering, if it's a confidence thing, May is confident in her abilities, and Osha's maybe not, or is afraid of her abilities. Maybe
could be.
Maybe she associates them with being evil or something. I don't know. She did say something about May being bad and stuff, and being evil or whatever.
What's the yin and the yang? You got one light, one dark,
Right.
So, and I don't know, I think you mentioned it last time, or I'm pretty sure it was you. I don't think it was Scott, but it could have been Scott. I don't remember. But are they really two separate characters or are they one character?
Yeah. I'm actually, I think I think they're two in this time of this episode, but I'm wondering if one of them actually died in the fire, and the other one is kind of to deal with that has manifested a personality of the other one.
True.
So
and that could be
split personality. So, because I mean, I guess at the end of the episode 2, we supposedly saw May shoot a stun gun towards Osha when she was on a speeder bike.
All the way around. Osha shot it at May because May was
escaping. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. That's right. But
so,
but we don't know if that actually happened because they were so far apart. Do we?
True. I don't know. You mentioned this at the very beginning, but I thought it was interesting that the title only was one word when the others have been two. It'll be interesting to see what episode four's title is, because they're not releasing them yet, right?
No, I don't think so, but we can check real quick. I got it open somewhere.
I don't remember seeing anything for upcoming. Like it doesn't say anything. And the other thing I forgot, and I know we talked about this, but I forgot about it is it's at a set time now. Like I was all excited Tuesday because I had some free time, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna watch this." And then I was like, "Oh crap, I gotta wait till tonight."
It's a different time too. Yeah.
So
Yeah, the next episodes aren't released still.
yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if we see two names, back, or do they go to a single name, again.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I think kind of like what you're saying, it's a yin and yang kind of thing, and that's what the two titles were for me, kind of in my mind. But they're kind of like one in this episode, so maybe that's why there's only one title. I don't know. We could
Well,
be grasping for straws.
that, or just because it was the backstory, like it showed
Yep,
the beginning. I don't
very
know.
true.
This one is definitely, I think, piecing together really well. 3 episodes in, like
Yeah,
it's like they've done their homework and they've put it together and made it where it makes sense. Because I was
yeah,
worried about this episode. I thought this was going to be one of those like, and we're just gonna have to get through it. But this one actually, kind of tied it together. So probably the next episode will be a little bit slower paced.
right. That's what I was just
But
thinking.
I don't know. I'm liking it so far, man. I'm
It's pretty
pretty well
good.
done.
Uh, I'm not quite sure if it's and I hate comparing other Star Wars properties to each other, but they tend to do that a lot on the internet, of course. Um, I'm not quite sure if it's as good as Andor yet, but it's getting pretty close, at least in my
Yeah.
mind. Andor was pretty cool, and it jumped around and all kinds of stuff. It was just, I
Well,
don't know.
the appeal with Andor is we knew the outcome before it started. Like we knew what the end was going to be like. Oh, well, I mean, we it's not over, but we knew what they were building to. Like,
Yep,
so we knew everything from how it was supposed to end and what we saw from the beginning, and then everything that we watched in between, we knew was making sense for that.
yep, yep. That too. Which
Just don't really know so much.
in other news, I saw an article that where they interviewed Dave Filoni, which we know now is he's in charge of all of Star Wars.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, they're in the middle of still writing and filming some more for season 2 of Acolyte, so that's going to happen.
That's good.
Um, and they Andor season 2 is has already been filmed and is in post production.
Sweet.
And those all have to come out before Filoni's movie, which is supposed to, you know, be in theaters and such. Maybe it may just be a streaming movie. I don't know for sure anymore.
And isn't that 2025?
Yeah, something like that. 2025.
So that's good for us because that means they're setting something up for the fall, something going through the winter, and then probably something again in the spring. So
Let's hope so.
so we'll probably see the Acolyte again a year from now, next spring. And then maybe Skeleton Crew. Well, we know Skeleton Crew's coming out next, so that'll be the next one. And then maybe we'll see Andor through the winter then.
It'd be nice.
That's okay.
I don't like the long breaks that they do sometimes.
Well, but they're gonna have they're gonna be pushing stuff out because they got to get caught up because of the strike. Like
Well, true.
they've got to get I think, and I think that's probably part of the reason with why he's going with the movie instead of doing the series again, because they already had so many other things, going.
So, I don't know. I'd like to see another season of The Mandalorian before the movie.
Well, I would too. I mean, yeah, but I don't know that that's going to happen. But yeah, who knows?
All right. Feedback at KyleJohansson.us. That's feedback, KyleJohansson.us. Yes. So we need some feedback. You've taken in what we've said and what you've seen and what we talked about. We want you to send us what you think about it at that email address, feedback at KyleJohansson.us. We've got a link on our website where there's a form you can fill out for feedback. And I think you can type as much as you want in there. There's no limit on characters. We're also on X/Twitter. We're called super_duper_pod. We're on the Blue Sky network also at Rebel Alliance Briefing Room, all one word. We're on audio and video on Apple Podcasts, and you can put comments there. We're also on YouTube, video and audio. Comments will go there. So there's plenty of places to put comments. Lots of places for me to look at, which can be annoying, but that's fine. Put them in there wherever you want. And we look forward to hearing from you.
He's got plenty of time on his hands.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah. Send me the feedback. So I've been also working on another page too for our website called About Us. And you know how a lot of websites will have a thing in it, it'll have like who the people are and what a bunch of links and email addresses and stuff. So I'm gathering it all on one page basically, so people can click on it, and then there'll be links to other things like where to send feedback, where to go to us on social media, and all that. I'm not giving phone numbers or anything, but I want to put a phone number, and I do have a phone number reserved that I use for work, but I own it myself, and it's a Google phone number. Yeah. And if we really wanted to, people could send us voicemails. I just haven't never publicized the phone number. So I'm thinking about putting it on there.
You just outed me. Now the Witness Protection Program has to relocate me.
Yeah. So there's that, and then we do have. I've told you guys before. We do have a place where there's a place called Ko-fi, KOFFE, I think it is, or I can't remember what it is, but it's one of those websites where people can donate. And the idea is you give a cup of coffee, how much it costs for a cup of coffee, kind of thing. We've had we've been registered to that site for ever since the podcast began. I've just never done it because we've never had a crowd of anybody of any type. I've never publicized it, so I was thinking about putting that on there too, just so it's all kind of there in the place, but we don't have to talk about it all the time. It's just there. If people want to go to the website, they can find it there, kind of thing.
So in other words, you're encouraging people to not work while they're at their jobs. Way to go, man. Thanks. Appreciate that. I really need that.
I want them to listen to our podcast all the time.
I need my history page to change a little bit when HR checks it at work.
Yeah.
The news, Rusty Myers, fishing, and Cabela's. Now I can add some more to it.
Yeah. I've before Scott's volunteered to create a separate page just for our podcast on Facebook, but I don't know. Then somebody has to manage it and post to it on stuff all the time.
True.
So, and I haven't had a post a Facebook account for 15 years now. I don't know if I'd know how to do it anymore.
Well, it's all changed, and it changes like every week. So
I
yeah.
know. And they changed the permissions, so you got to go back in and fix them so that.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. So that's our podcast. Any other things you got to say about the episode, Rick?
I no, I think I've said pretty much everything I thought. I think it's off and running really well.
Yeah, it's turning out to be a pretty good story.
There's going to be a boring episode coming up. I know that, but it's done really well. I'm hooked into it. So
I don't know. So this the showrunner and creator, and this is no, um whatever you want to call it, but
yeah,
it's a female that's running it. So don't take anything against what I'm saying about that. I'm
yeah,
saying it because I think sometimes women think more about things like that and how it goes together.
yeah.
And I'm wondering if because of that, we may have less filler stuff than we do normally.
Could.
It'll be more tying together stuff, but not as fillery, I guess. I don't know.
Well,
Because
we know there's some action coming because we've seen the trailers and the previews and stuff. So we know there's like some good fights yet to happen.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
so like, even if there is a boring or whatever episode, there's going to be some stuff that's going to keep you enthralled, I guess.
and
And
I'm wondering, the story is called the Acolyte, and I'm wondering if May, who is supposedly our acolyte, if she actually ends up killing all the poor Jedi that she's hunting, or if it ends and she's been converted in or something stupid like that. I don't know. I'm just
well,
curious how that's going to go.
yeah, that's what I was just going to say. The other thing about it that I think is appealing too is we don't know any of these characters. Like none of
Right.
these characters are characters that we know. Like, and so far we haven't seen a connection with. We talked about this I think last week. Well, I know we did. I just don't remember which episode, but we don't know any of the characters. This is all new characters to the Star Wars universe, whatever. So I think you got a little bit more of a buy-in because you don't have that bias or opinion of character A or character B. They're
Right.
all new characters. So it's going to be
Right.
interesting if they do make connections with some of these characters to characters down the road, but we also know that there is some overlap because we looked at the timeline. So there is characters that we know will show up, but what's the connection between characters that we may not know? Like is one of these the great 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 granddaddy of so and so, or
Exactly.
influence somebody or something. So I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
still sticking with that was Mace Windu that went into that temple.
Could be.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it from episode 2.
Could be. Could be. I don't know. I kind of think is this is they're showing us this stuff because this is really actually the time when uh, the beginning of the Jedi start to fall, and the evil forces start to rise a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, because people start to realize, oh, what are these Jedi doing? Why are they taking out children? Whatever it is. Like I said, it's in Acolyte. It seems kind of creepy. We don't really
Well,
get that in any other episode, any other show. We hear about them talking, but they make it almost kind of creepy.
but that's also by the design because this is supposed to be a little darker side of the
Yep.
creation, I guess, of the story. We're seeing the darker pages instead of the uplifting, pages that we've all been familiar with so far of the entire, like I don't want to say universe because that just makes, but
Yeah.
the storyline. We're seeing the darker side of the storyline now. Hey, by the
Exactly.
way, I thought about this too, and I was gonna say it earlier and I forgot, but the two moon things, like there's like a connection with that too, like on the planet between the two girls, like because one of them was like dark and the other one was like light, even so the duality of of that. There's a
Yeah, I
there's a
didn't.
lot of there's a lot of symbolism that I think as the season progresses, we're gonna like, oh yeah, that was good.
Yeah, and I didn't even notice that. I thought
So
about the two moons and stuff in them, but I didn't notice that there was a difference in what the visually or anything like
well, I
that.
think one of them is like I don't know, is it like reddish pink maybe, and the other one is like a white yellow kind of thing. So, and I
Yeah,
think one of them actually has like a line or a sphere, or not a sphere, but a like I don't know what you would call it, a point of light or something. That's like I don't have to go back and look at it now that I say that, but I just thought it was interesting that there were two moons because I was trying to remember.
you can't see it on the
Was
camera.
it on Tatooine that there's two moons with
There's
Anikin,
two suns.
two suns? Maybe that's what it is. And
Yeah,
I'm saying moons. Maybe it's suns. I don't know, but two like like the two things there. So I don't know. Maybe I thought about that a little bit too much.
I don't know if you can see that there. The first row, over in the far side, there's a symbol there. It's like two wings and it's got like a star in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
is that
Ah,
kind of what you see for the yeah, over there? It's way
hold
far
on.
away, but is that kind of what you're thinking about for the moons you saw?
Uh, Not really. No, I don't know. You'll have to go back to the episode and watch it. Like I just saw it was. I'm trying to think on where the scene was. Maybe it was when they were coming. I don't remember if they were coming back to the fortress, the castle, or whatever, and it like just panned off to the side and had them, or if it was during like the
Yeah,
ceremony or something. That I mean, it's there. Like it's not just like camera pauses, long dramatic, 1001,
right.
1002, 3, but it's there subtle enough that you're like you see it, and it's like because it made me think like somewhere else I'd seen two, and I thought it was on with Anakin or Luke, one or the other on the planet, but I couldn't remember for sure what it was, and so I just
Yeah,
think
it was a
there's something symbolic.
sunset with two suns.
Yeah, there's something symbolic with that, and it makes sense
Well,
because it's the two girls.
yeah, and the way you described it to me, and maybe it's just my mind being weird, but whenever I see the two moons that were in the episode, I see a crescent moon. So there's two crescent moons is what I see. I don't see two circles. I don't know why that is, but because you described it just now, the way you described it, that's why I thought of that Jedi symbol because that's the Jedi symbol. It's two wings and then there's like a star light or something in the middle, and it's almost
Yeah.
exactly the same thing you described. Um,
Well, go back and look at it, and
yeah,
I
I'll
don't
have to
know. They're
watch it
just
again.
they're different colors, and I don't know if that means much or what, but they're different shades. But like one of them has like I would almost say like it's like a skewer going through it, kind of like like globe would have that would spin on, but it's actually light, and the other one is just kind of like a half moon kind of thing. Like it's white, but the other part's like shaded out, and you can kind of see the edge. I don't know.
Yeah,
I just thought there's some symbolism to it that they're trying to subtly dump in, and hoping that you would catch it or make a connection, and I recognize it, but I don't know that I'm making the connection or whatever. So
yeah, and we're getting way off here, but I almost want to think from the way they keep bringing up the witches and stuff in these shows is that maybe they're trying to imply that this force ability has been around forever and it started with witches and it kind of split off
true.
because witches, you know as we know from our history, witches are people that can do weird and crazy kind of spells and whatever, and make things disappear and stuff,
Yep.
make things levitate, which witches have in our past supposedly have done, right?
Yeah.
So I wonder if they're trying to imply that if the whole Jedi and Sith and everything, they're all splinters of witches of some sort.
Could make sense. Well,
Anyway.
I mean, this is kind of the oldest stuff that we know so far, kind of
Right.
in terms of that, that we've seen. So, but we know the Jedi were around during that time, and obviously now the Sith have been around during that time too. So they've all been in the same time frame. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out more as this progresses because they'll go farther back into the history part. I don't know. Good point.
I can't remember exactly, but there's a record that they have of like, I don't know, it's like 25,000 years in the past is when the first Jedi, happened or whatever.
Or shows up
as a religion or whatever you want to call it. I kind of see the Jedi as a religion in a way, because that's kind of the way they say it's not, but that's kind of the way it's portrayed as,
Well, yeah.
It's a cult, let's just say,
Yeah.
For a bad word, but it is,
Yeah.
I'm also the kind of person that thinks that most major religion is kind of a cult too, because they kind of do the same thing. They all want you to worship their thing and do their thing, and then if you don't do it, then you're bad.
Yeah.
You're against the cult.
They're just a bunch of hippies living on a commune.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get out of here. We've been talking too long. So, thank you for listening to the Rebel Alliance Briefing Room podcast. Please visit our website where you can play current and past episodes. That's https://RABR KyleJohansson.us. That's RABR.KyleJohansen.us. On the left-hand side is a navigation menu. You can use this to learn how to load the Rebel Alliance Briefing Room podcast on your Android or Apple phone and tablet. And we have direct links to our podcast on Apple and Google Podcast. Please participate by connecting to our social media, answering questions of the week, or submitting feedback directly from the site. Again, all of these are available at the Rebel Alliance Briefing Room website at RABR.KyleJohansen.us. This podcast in no way is approved, sponsored, or owned by Lucasfilms Ltd., Disney, Disney Plus, or any of its subsidiaries. All opinions are solely owned by Kyle and or Scott, and in no way express the views or opinions of their past or present employers. Views and opinions are not supported or restricted by Lucasfilms Ltd., Disney, Disney Plus, or any of its subsidiaries. Any rebroadcast, reproduction, or any or other use of this podcast and its affiliate sites without consent of Super Duper Podcast Network and its host is prohibited. Very bad. I am Kyle Jung-Jae. It's me. This is Andrew Scott Sutton. Nope. Say goodbye now. Just Rick. Just Rick. No Andrew. I do need to redo that. That's kind of my goal around a lot of this organizing of the site differently and stuff, is to make this a little shorter too. So let's say go to this and then everything's there. And anyway, let's stop recording.